From what I seen, because I remember when Lil Meech was rapping, nobody helped him, and then 50 put him in acting suit, kept it on the low, and he made all this money.
I wasn't going to address this because I'm not trying to let nobody trick me off the streets. But I never folded, never told, never will. Death before dishonor, always.
Since 50 Cent fired him and scolded Big Meech for allegedly being a snitch, Lil Meech has been going crazy and seeking retribution. The whole thing descended to anarchy, and things are only becoming worse. Lil Meech attempted to play both sides as if it were a game when this controversy initially began last month. He even sent 50 curses via SMS, saying he was still devoted despite his father's tight relationship with Rick Ross. However, that loyalty vanished in an instant. The next thing everyone notices is Meech smiling in pictures with Floyd Mayweather and Ross, two of 50's greatest adversaries. The internet went crazy on that move.
How did Lil Meech blow through the $5 million that he made on BMF? They said that boy was buying every chrome hot made to man.
Move alone. This is where it becomes twisted, though. As it that Lil Meech has already switched on Rick Ross. As it happens, Ross had no real interest in assisting Big Meech. He was only trying to gain influence and use the Fennery name to steal shots at 50. And now that the craze has subsided, Lil Meech and his parents are realizing that they may have only been pawns in a larger scheme. However, don't anticipate to make others feel sorry for him. Fans claim that by betraying the guy who created him, Lil Meech completely blew the greatest gift of his career. 50 Cent gave him everything, let's face it. He paid for 2 years of acting lessons out of pocket for his debut job, which also made him the star of BMF. Loyalty is that. However, Meech allegedly burned through every cent like it was play, rather than creating something long-lasting. Cash. According to reports, he spent $5 million in just 3 years. No funds, no investments.
Now,
you can look at my paperwork, man. My paperwork, if I was writing it to be on CNN, you know what I mean? You better believe it, my nigga. Yeah, it'd be on CNN. You know, you got some people insinuate whole Big Meech telling on Mexicans. How? Look on Wikipedia. It'll tell you Daniel Carrell out of LA, he telling on me. Shit, you know, penitentiary rules is if you do not call a man hot or a rat or a snitch, or that he cooperating with the government without having paperwork to prove it. You know what I'm saying? If not, you get your bitch ass up top, you check in, or your car checks you in. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know, not supposed to send oh yeah, I think Big Meech hot. No, you don't think that. You show that, or you keep your opinion to yourself.
Not even a reserve for his father's return. Designer clothes only. Icy out jewelry, as well as a purported whippet addiction. Yes, that thing about laughing gas. It's crazy. Since the money has dried up, Lil Meech is blaming everyone but himself, pretending to be the victim even though he destroyed his own bag. The consensus he played himself greatly, and the streets are talking. The true question then becomes, was 50 Cent simply keeping it 100, or did he go too far by shutting him off? And now that the smoke is dispersing, what is actually happening between Floyd, Ross, and Big Meech? Because it appears to be quite dubious from behind the scenes. The internet went crazy when the father-son team recently appeared in Miami, hanging out with Ross and Mayweather. Clowning furiously, many claimed that Ross had simply hooked up to get attention. Meech, though, was unconcerned. Posting up at Lucky Strike with both of them, he doubled down and flexed as if nothing had occurred.
Ordered me 200,000 just for this Cuban. This Cuban is like 1,100 grams. It's chunky, real big. I really can't have this on for longer than 3 or 4 hours. My neck started hurting. You know, you might find a regular Cuban for 50 or for 100 maybe, but you know, it's 200 just for a kilo.
What's the pendant cost?
3, just for the pendant. Right here, this is Antarctica. It's the big boy. This is Christine called it Antarctica. It's the chandelier that I might have seen DJ Khaled with this song. It's that big boy, you know.
How much is it worth?
$2 million.
The biggest jaw-dropper followed. Meech posted a nice picture of 50 with the phrase, "real power." Well, that was a brave thing to do. 50 wasn't going to tolerate it, as you now know. He retaliated immediately, sharing a video of Meech hanging out with Ross and making fun of him for allegedly bringing Big Meech a wink care package. Caption for the 1950s. Barbaric. Tell your parents, please. I'll keep an eye on things. What's the address? I'm going to mail him some wings there. Outright rudeness. And it all started when Big Meech, who had been imprisoned for more than 20 years, was eventually released and paired up with Ross right away. 50 went into full vicious mode at that point and began to imply that Big Meech could have figured something out.
With 50, and if you know 50 or you've been around 50, everything is loyalty with 50. If you're loyal to him, he's loyal to you. And like Meech said, he'll take the shirt off his back for you, and he's helped
Because
so
he's a
many
cancer.
people, and he'll help so many people in the industry that he never talks about. He's gave so many people money behind the scenes. So when people switch sides like that, there is no awful.
Out. Since then, things have changed. Big Meech, however, wasn't keeping quiet. He gave a forceful clap back. Video claiming that he would sooner die than snitch and that he has never told on anyone in his life. His line in the sand was that. Did 50 Cent, however, back down? Not a chance. He went on to say that he had official court documents proving Big Meech was working with a woman called Tammy Collins in third-party cooperation, R0545. The streets trembled. Everyone is now questioning if 50 was truly revealing the truth, or if this was just another ruthless power struggle. The anxiety was real either way. An alleged informant who was once an associate. It's deep. However, 50 didn't end there. He chose both the father and the son. You see, Lil Meech sensed something slick when 50
F. Ross, yeah, just like that. Then, trying to prove his loyalty, he poured his heart out in a message. I would take my shirt off my back for you. I can't believe this, man. You act as if I'm your enemy.
50 began exposing Big Meech with those accusations of snitching. On Instagram, 50 had unfollowed him. Thus, attempting to maintain the Lil Meech reached out for peace. He made it plain that he didn't get along with Rick Ross at all and told 50 that this turmoil wasn't his concern. Even F. Rose Ross was written by him. Yes, exactly like that. He then gave his all in an attempt to demonstrate his loyalty, in a message. For you, I would remove my shirt from my back. Man, I can't believe this. You behave as though I'm your adversary. I've just been faithful and kind to you. I have my own problems, but I never betrayed you. Deep, right? However, when 50 didn't react as he had hoped and began to imply that Lil Meech would be replaced on BMF, that allegiance didn't last long. Meech yelled. Days later, he swapped sides and appeared in Miami as if nothing had occurred, with Floyd Mayweather and Rick Ross showing up. People recognized then that all of the "I'm loyal to 50" rhetoric was merely damage control. Why? Due to the fact that 50 had already cut away from his primary source of income, and the disguise fell off when the check stopped coming. Lil Meech burned through every last dollar from BMF, according to industry rumors. He apparently spent millions attempting to look like a rap artist, rather than making investments or creating anything genuine. Rockstar, wearing luxury clothes, promoting foreign brands, and hoarding jewelry like awards. He was even flexing online in bespoke Chrome Hearts pants, bragging about dropping $2 million on one watch. That is hardly the conduct of a boss, that's careless. Everyone is curious about Lil Meech's future, now that the money is running low and 50 is no longer an option. It seems that he spent around $5 million in just 3 years, leaving only clothing, automobiles, and chains as his only possessions. Furthermore, Tony Yao simply aired him out, as if that weren't enough. Yao claimed that Meech was behaving entitled, acting as though he was owed money, and even suggesting to Lil Baby and others that they should give Big Meech some money. That's absurd. Get this then. Lil Meech was acting as though the world was meant to support his lifestyle, and he was actually out there acting as though people owed him money. However, this is the portion that left everyone speechless. According to Tony Yao, this man was spending $100,000 on designer trousers while pleading for help. It goes beyond being careless. That's crazy behavior. And it becomes much more bizarre. Lil Meech acknowledged that he was completely lost prior to meeting 50 Cent. No objectives, no strategy, no guidance, just feelings. However, 50 recognized his talent when no one else did. Rather than launching a 50, a professional actress for BMF, took a chance on him by funding 2 years of acting classes out of pocket and assisting him in starting a whole new career. You would think that Meech would have locked in and played his cards wisely after being given that kind of opportunity. But nope, he seemed to believe that money would keep rolling in and that someone, most likely 50, would always be there to help him out. It was an absurd entitlement. The internet was rocked as 50 dropped another bomb. He asserted that Big Meech was envious of the relationship he developed with Lil Meech. 50 claims that Big Meech was unable to cope with the reality that he had assumed a greater paternal role than he had ever had. Furthermore, that's not even the most outrageous aspect. 50 claimed that Lil Meech, not Big Meech, was the one who intervened to help him get back on track after he began to show up to the BMF set high. When 50 learned, he not only confronted him but also covered the cost of his own rehabilitation. It is said that Lil Meech was addicted to whippets, which are nitrous oxide, sometimes known as laughing gas. 50 even put a message that said, "I thought about it," but then removed it, hinting that this problem went deeper than anyone knew. The crucial question now is, did Lil Meech undermine his own achievements? Or was he simply enmeshed in a destructive game between fame, devotion, and negative influence? 50 claimed that control and envy were the main factors. "I believe," he said, "the bond between Meech and I made him uneasy. Meech is being warned not to use drugs by me. Like it's cool. He tells him that he used to do X. Meech should quit wasting all of his money, I advise him. He is informing him of the extent of his blow." There it is, complete anarchy. This is where it all takes a major turn. Lil Meech partnered with Rick Ross out of retaliation, believing Ross was on his side. In actuality, though, Ross was only using him as a pawn to attack 50. Ross is nowhere to be seen now that the moment has passed, and Meech is left with a broken image and an empty bag. What do you think then? Does Lil Meech still have a chance to turn his life around and clear his record? Or did he do this to himself? Please share your opinions in the comments section below. And remember to use the like, share, and subscribe buttons for more crazy tales like this one. Everybody,